A quiet hush was falling over the universe. It was not a silence of peace, but one of absence. The great, vibrant song of the cosmos, a melody sung by spinning galaxies and burning stars, was beginning to fade. Across the endless expanse, pinpricks of light that had shone for eons flickered and died, leaving behind cold, empty voids. This was the great unraveling, a slow and silent end where the very fabric of space grew tired and began to fray at the edges. The darkness was not aggressive, it was simply an emptiness, a forgetting of what it meant to be full of light and wonder. The vibrant colors of nebulae seemed to desaturate, their brilliant pinks and blues turning to a muted gray, like a beautiful painting left out in the rain for too long. The oldest beings in the cosmos, the ancient star whales who swam through the rivers of space-time, felt it first. Their melancholic songs, which once echoed with the joy of creation, now carried a note of deep sorrow. They saw the threads of existence thinning, the cosmic dust settling into stillness, and the warmth of young suns growing cold before their time. Planets that once teemed with life fell silent, their atmospheres thinning into nothingness, their oceans freezing into solid sheets of ice. It was as if the universe was slowly falling asleep, a deep and dreamless slumber from which it might never awaken. The magic that bound everything together, the invisible energy that sparked life and held galaxies in their graceful dance, was weakening with every passing moment. Imagine a grand tapestry, woven with threads of every color imaginable, each thread a star, a planet, or a life form. Now imagine that tapestry slowly coming undone, one thread at a time, leaving behind gaping holes of black nothingness. That was the state of the universe. In a distant spiral arm of a forgotten galaxy, there lived the Lumina. These were not beings of flesh and bone, but creatures woven from pure, gentle light, floating, jellyfish-like, with long, shimmering tentacles, trailing like comet tails. Their bodies pulsed with a soft glow, then a warm glow, shifting through pastel colors that reflected emotion. The Lumina were the keepers of the starlight seeds, tiny, crystalline motes of energy. For generations they tended celestial nurseries, vast fields of cosmic dust, planting seeds, watching them grow into life-giving suns. When the great unraveling began, the nurseries failed. Dust went cold, seeds would not sprout. Darkness leached the vital energy from their gardens, leaving them barren and desolate. A pale blue sadness washed over their community, but they did not despair. Solara, the eldest and wise, gathered the youngest and strongest. Their mission was clear. Take the remaining seeds, travel into the dying parts of the universe, find places that needed a star most. Their ship was no machine of metal, but a living, iridescent bubble of light. Inside, Lumina tended the seeds, singing soft harmonies to keep them vibrant. They traveled slowly and deliberately, following faint, dying whispers of star systems, seeking the deepest silence like cosmic doctors looking for weak heartbeats. Their first stop, a collapsed red giant, a cold, dark cinder. Planets frozen, lifeless, encased in thick layers of ice. The Lumina formed a circle around the dead star. Raising their tentacles in unison, they released a single perfect starlight seed into its heart. They hummed, pouring life energy into the seed. A flicker appeared. It grew, tiny spark to brilliant flame. The seed sprouted. A new young star was born, bathing frozen worlds in warm golden light, beginning their slow thaw. Far across the galactic plane, on a world named Terracotta, lived a civilization of beings known as the Geodes. These creatures appeared to be slow, lumbering rock formations, their outer shells made of hardened clay, crystalline structures. They moved with a deliberate, ancient patience, communicating not with words but through low, resonant hums that vibrated through the ground. But beneath their rugged exteriors, the Geodes held a magnificent secret. Their bodies were hollow. Within them grew breathtaking crystal gardens, each geode a living cathedral, inner walls lined with shimmering, multifaceted crystals, chiming with a delicate, magical music. These crystals were not mere decorations, they were the planet's memory. The Geodes were the librarians of the cosmos. Their crystals were the books. Each facet of every crystal held a memory, the birth of a world, the first song of a newly evolved species, the feeling of sunlight on a forgotten ocean. When a planet in their vicinity began to die from the great unraveling, its memories would fade. The corresponding crystals within the Geodes would cloud over and fall silent. The beautiful, chiming music of their inner gardens was being replaced by a dull, toneless thud. They knew that a universe without its memories was a universe without a soul. Their leader, a wise old geode named Elder Clastos, whose inner garden held the memory of their galaxy's formation, proposed a daring plan. They could not stop the physical decay of worlds from so far away, but they could save their essence. They would build a great ark, not of wood, not of metal, but of living memory. The geodes would journey to the dying planets. Before the worlds faded completely, they would absorb and preserve their stories. They would become living libraries, carrying the souls of these lost worlds within them, ensuring that they would never be truly forgotten. In the heart of the Orion Spur, nestled within a vast and shimmering nebula known as the Veil, lived the Whispering Weavers. They were tall and slender, woven from the nebula's gases, soft purple, deep magenta, and brilliant teal. The Weavers were the caretakers of the cosmic fabric itself. The Great Unraveling was a catastrophe for the Weavers. The tapestry of their home nebula began to fray. Great gaping holes appeared. The threads became brittle and snapped. Led by a master artisan named Gossamer, they would leave safety and venture into the most damaged regions, taking their cosmic looms to attempt the impossible: reweave the universe. Upon reaching a frayed region, the ship stilled. The Weavers floated into the void, gathering loose threads like a graceful ballet. Some held threads taut while others wove. They hummed a low, continuous chant, coaxing the threads to bind and merge. Where they worked, the emptiness receded, replaced by dark, healthy space full of potential. As the different groups traveled on their sacred missions, their paths began to, converge. The Lumina, having just birthed a new star, detected a faint, sorrowful hum. Following the sound, their bubble of light drifted toward a strange and beautiful sight: a planet entirely covered in a forest of giant crystalline trees. This was the planet Xylos, now silent and dim. Its crystal trees, once a chorus of light and sound, were dark and muted. The planet's core, a massive energy crystal, was fading, draining away. As the Lumina approached, they saw another vessel already there, the asteroid ark of the Geodes. The Geodes, scattered through the silent forest, absorbed the planet's dying memories. Elder Clastos stood at the largest tree, its central crystal now a dull, milky white. He explained to Solara they were too late to save the planet's form, but determined to preserve its soul. Solara looked at the fading heart crystal and at the starlight seeds. An idea sparked, a collaboration. The Geodes would save what was, the Lumina would create what could be. What if they could do both? What if a starlight seed could reignite the planet's heart? Elder Clastos agreed. The Lumina chose their most vibrant seed. The Geodes gathered around the dying heart. As the Lumina placed the seed upon the crystal, the Geodes opened their shells, aiming their memory-filled crystals at the seed. They began to hum, not the song of loss, but the song of Xylos itself, projecting the planet's preserved memories back into its heart. The Lumina joined in, pouring pure light and life energy into the seed. It was a symphony of creation and remembrance, a powerful act of cosmic healing. The combined effort on Xylos was a spectacular success. United, they continued their journey together, stronger than before, to the Oort Cloud, a celestial garden of icy comets, where lived the celestial gardeners, small, furry creatures, a mix of field mouse and bumblebee, with large, curious eyes and delicate, translucent wings. They tended the comets, water seeds, source of water for young planets. But the gravitational pathways dissolved, water seeds drifted, young planets stayed dry. The Lumina and Geodes arrived, finding the gardeners in quiet despair. Pip pointed toward a parched world. The Whispering Weavers came in a ship of spun light. Gossamer saw not an ending but a tear to mend. The Weavers could respin the invisible roads. The alliance was now 4 strong: the Lumina, the Geodes, the Gardeners, the Weavers. The Weavers rewove gravitational pathways, creating shimmering new roads of space-time. The Gardeners guided comets along the new routes, sending streams of water seeds to the thirsty planet. The Lumina illuminated the paths. The Geodes hummed encouragement, anchoring the delicate work. As they worked, they sensed a greater calling. Patching small holes was not enough. They must address the source. Their combined senses, light, memory, matter, and fabric, pointed to the heart of the void, where emptiness spread, where no light shone and no time passed. They traveled through graveyards of dead galaxies and shattered worlds. The silence pressed in. The darkness seemed to absorb the Lumina's light. Doubt crept in. In despair, their unity became a shield. They shared stories. Geodes projected saved worlds. Oceans singing, suns reborn. Lumina pulsed reassurance. Gardeners chirped of seeds becoming oceans. Weavers showed the beauty of a single perfect thread. They remembered they fought for beauty, wonder, and connection. Their hope, nurtured by friendship, became a light brighter than any star, pushing back the darkness. They arrived at the heart of the void. Not a place, but an absence. A perfect sphere of non-existence. It was not evil, it was simply tired. The starting point turned ending, having forgotten its purpose to create. They had to remind the universe of itself, perform the ultimate healing, combining their gifts into one great weaving of life. The weavers strained, the void pulled back, but the geodes hummed endurance and anchored the lattice, projecting the memory of the first creation. Into the lattice, the Lumina released starlight seeds, dissolving into pure potential, a mist of light. The gardeners guided water seeds. Ice melted into life essence, mingling with light and memory. Promise of oceans, forests, and life. They worked as one, minds and spirits linked, in a single act of hope, pouring love, sorrow, and joy into the weave. They were not fighting the darkness. They were filling the emptiness. Answering the silence not with a shout, but with a song of creation, a lullaby for a universe waiting to be born anew. The universe had begun to heal itself, reminded by 4 small groups of determined souls. The fading melody returned, stronger and richer, harmonized with new notes of courage and unity. Exhausted but at peace, they watched as the cosmos came back to life. Their individual missions became a single shared legacy. Lumina's starlight seeds found fertile ground everywhere. Geode's crystal gardens chimed across worlds. Weaver's threads strengthened the fabric of space. Gardener's water seeds found barren worlds, bringing life along sky roads. They had not conquered the end. They taught the universe how to begin again. Their journey home was a victory lap through a cosmos singing their praise. Worlds they passed saw them as friends, not saviors. The story of their alliance became a legend whispered star to star. The weaver, the gardener, the librarian, the lamplighter. It taught that the universe is a single, interconnected family. It taught that hope, when shared, is a light that can never be extinguished. Their journey saved the universe and gave it the knowledge of itself. The 4 friends returned home, no longer separate. They forged a bond transcending vast distances. They established the first great cosmic council, a promise to watch over the universe together. The universe was safe because of a great friendship. The grandest adventures are about helping a neighbor, and the most powerful magic is different souls working together to build a more beautiful tomorrow. The song of the cosmos was safe. Now a chorus sung by many voices, united in harmony.